Hello Year 8, Mr. Walker here to take you through your last lesson in 8.11 of your interior and exterior angles. Here is your knowledge retrieval. Please give yourself 8 to 10 minutes to answer these questions. We're on 5C for this lesson. Please have your green pens ready and pause the video. Now press play when you're ready for the answers, please. Here are your answers. Please make any corrections required. Take 2 minutes to just get these sorted. And I hope you all was achieving 3 or more, preferably 5 or 6. And give yourself a bit of time just to digest if you did get any wrong, where you maybe went wrong in your calculation, or understand if you can from the information, if you didn't put anything down for a question, what you would do for the next knowledge retrieval to get that correct. Okay, here's your contents. So in yellow highlighted, we are looking at irregular polygons today. So we've been focusing all on regular polygons. We're looking at irregular today. Important information now at year 8, and it might be worth pausing and making note of some of the text here. So some facts that we need to recap and just embed and learn into our memories to help us with the irregular polygons. So I'm just going to read from underneath the title. We will learn how to find the missing angle in a irregular polygon. The total of the interior angles in a polygon, regular or irregular, will always be the same. Okay, so that's good news. Now, if we just look at the image, we have a triangle, and as we should know our angle facts, angles in a triangle sum to 180 degrees. And we're going to be taking that into the lesson here today. And if we look to the right of it in bold, we have, because interior angles of a triangle sum to 180 degrees, the number of sides subtract 2 is the amount of triangles you can split a irregular polygon into. Okay, so we will look at splitting that polygon. When you see the irregular polygon in a minute, we'll look at splitting it up. Okay, so it makes more sense. You get a visual image of this. So this rule of 180 degrees is going to help us today split our irregular polygons and get us to our answer for an interior angle size. Underneath it says example, a 5-sided shape. Well, we would do 180. We will multiply 5 sides, subtract 2, so that would be 3 sides. It's going to give us 360. And then we do our next steps. So this is just around the first step that we're going to start off. Pause the video here and just make sure you note down the yellow for 30 seconds, underline, and have I do and we do underline and ready as well, please. And let's go into the first I do. Okay, so we said about splitting the irregular polygon. So this is an irregular polygon in front of us. Okay, it's no distinct shape. And to calculate, okay, we're wanting to calculate this missing angle here labeled A. The first thing we want to look at for a visual image is splitting when the line decides to draw properly. Splitting our irregular polygon into 3 triangles, which you can see here now. We've got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, year 8. So now you can see that. And then we can go to our number 1, okay, and calculate 180 degrees And we know it's 180 degrees because on the last side, we know that each of these three triangles, all their angles add up to 180 degrees. And we multiply by the number of sides, subtract 2. So let me make sense of this for you. Well, the number of sides for this irregular polygon is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Around these three triangles that we've split it into. We've got the number of slides. Let's put it here. Sides, it's 5. And then we subtract 2. And if you're wondering why we subtract 2, well, we've already mentioned it. It's because we've got 1, 2, 3 triangles. Okay? So 180 multiply 3 sides is going to get the sum of the interior angles, okay, for the irregular polygon. So let's do that. So I'm just going to go back up to the top here for some space. We're going to go 180 degrees multiply 3, okay. We know why, because we've just spoke about it. See it in step 1, okay. That is going to leave us with 540, okay, degrees. 540 degrees. Now we look at step 2, and this is where it gets even simpler for us. Add all the known angles. So you have to look at this image again. We know we're missing one, which is labelled A. We've got to add all the angles together that we can see. So we add 117, 58, 138, and 70. Okay. So that's going to be, I'm just going to do that quickly here. So I can do it quick, just so we don't add too much time. So that equals, just going to write on the other side here of the I do, 383 degrees. Now to find that A, the last step says subtract the total that we've just added up from the total sum of the interior angles. So all we do is we do that 540 that we worked out in step 1, we subtract the angles that we know, which we've just worked out in step 2, and that leaves us with 157 degrees, okay, which is, yeah, you've probably guessed it, the A, the other interior angle for this irregular polygon. Okay, now I know we just spent about 5 minutes explaining that, but we always have to sort of do this with the first one because of the steps, and also so you can really sort of understand it. I want to make sure I slow it down and you completely understand here, right? Now it's your turn. So you can jot all this information down and these steps, make sense of them, and then pause the video when you're ready for the we do, and then press play shortly when you're ready and you've worked it out for the answer. Again, the answer worked out, as you can see, number 3 here, and I've drawn the arrow again, 157 degrees. Okay. In your we do, what they changed is some of the numbers of the other interior angles, but it added up 383 again, and we just followed the same calculations. I didn't do the full calculation for 2 or 3 because I'm sure you worked that out. If you're getting step 1 right, using the success criteria, then you add up all the interior angles for step 2, and then you subtract it from the 540 here to get 157. Okay, easy done. Okay, here, right? So just to really remember our focus here, okay, we are, remember, fellow at the top and you've written it down to find the missing angles, okay? Straight off the bat for this I do here, it's showing we've got missing angles. There's nothing for these right angles. Basic knowledge, we know they're 90 degrees, so we can get that out of the way, okay? Because they're missing angles there. There's nothing for them. Let's just fill them in, okay? And now we can go into this irregular, other part of the irregular polygon on the right here, okay? Now let's just remember that rule for why we're using 180 degrees in step 1 is because we can split this shape into 3 triangles, okay? And all triangles equal 180 degrees. And we need to multiply that by the number of sides, subtract 2. So the number of sides for this right part of not the square, the quadrilateral here, is 1. We've got 1 side here, we've got 2 here, 3, and 4. So this time it's going to be, number of sides is 4, subtract 2, so that's going to be 2. So step 1 is going to be 180 degrees times, okay, multiplied twice because we've got the 2 sides that we just shown worked out. That just gives us 360 degrees, okay? And then for step 2, we need to add the known interior angles. So we've got this one here, 53, and this one here, 54 in the corners there. So that, adding them together, it gives us 107, doesn't it? 107 degrees. And we need to subtract that. We need to subtract that from the 360. So that's going to equal, very quickly, 100 away, so that's 267, 253. Now, each of the 2 missing angles left still in this quadrilateral here and here, they can't both be worth 253 degrees, okay? They're going to have to be, this 253 degrees is going to have to be divided by 2, okay? So that would then essentially be our third step here, where we would divide that by 2. And when we divide that by 2, we get 126.5. So that would be 126.5 for that missing angle. Let's label, it's not really labeled on this one, so let's label that A. And then again here, the same size, okay, for B. All right. Now we know from step 1 that this right part of the irregular polygon, this quadrilaterals add up to 360. Okay. So just to double check that our final answer for them 2 sides is 126.5, we can now add all the interior angles. So the 53, the 54, and then a 126.5, which we know was 253, and that adds back up to 360, doesn't it? So you can always double check, like a little step 4. All right, pause the video. Your turn for the we do, guys. So then, team year 8, here are the steps. Okay. In step 1, we had 360 again because it was 4 sides, and we subtracted 2 to get 2 sides to equal that. Number 2, we add our interior angles that we can see, 70 and 74 to get 144. We then subtract that from our initial 360 to get 216, and then step 4, we divide that by 2 to get 108, which goes on each of the missing angles. Make any corrections that you need to with your green pen. Make sure everything's nice and neat, so when you send your work to your teachers, they can see everything clearly, guys. Get them achievement points that you deserve. for working so hard. Okay, so here's another I do. Well, this looks a good fun, good challenge. So let's do what we do just to help us visually, just to make sense of why we're doing what we're doing with these irregular polygons. Let's just practice splitting it into, oh, the wrong way. Splitting it into triangles. Look at that. Other than that one here, which I'm just going to get rid of quickly. Beautiful. All right, there's a very, very slim one in there. So how many triangles? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Okay. So remember, all these equal that 180, that rule that we love, that we know so well. We've got to count them sides up and subtract it by 2. All right. Remember the 180, this is why we do it. That's why we split them up. That's just that basic rule. So how many sides? We've got 1, 2, 3, little one there, 4. Oops, sorry about the big line. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we've got 8 for this irregular polygon. So number of sides is 8. Subtract that by 2. That's now 6 sides. We're going to do 180. Sorry, my pen lags sometimes as I'm typing this out, as you can probably see. Multiply by 6 equals a whopping 1080. Okay, now we need to add all the interior angles, and again we're only missing one. I'll just circle that A quickly so we don't forget about it down there. Alright, so for step 2 we need to add all the known angles. So I'm just going to do that now quickly here to save time. You would probably use the column method if you wasn't allowed to use your calculator, just to add these up swiftly. And I'm just using a calculator just to ensure that it's done a little quicker, like I've just mentioned. Okay, so I think I've done them all. So I've got 858 on the whole. So all the interior angles equal 858. Alrighty. Now, step 3, I need to subtract that from the 1080. So instead of writing that out, that's easy enough for me just saying it. 1080 subtract 858. So 1080 subtract 858 equals 222. So our missing angle would be 222. So notice we follow the similar steps to the first example that I do and we do. The second example, we had to divide by 2 because of the way it's split and the sides it used, okay, with the even angles. So just be careful with that, be mindful. Right, we do, your turn. Pause the video, press play when you're ready for the answer, guys. Okay, team, so step 1, we had 1080 again, 8 sides. Then we times by 6, subtract 2. Step 2, we add all the interior angles to 966, then subtract it from 180, and you're left with 114 of step 3, and I'm drawing the arrow to again where we are labelled A. Getting good, guys, getting good at this now. Okay, here is your first question. Find the size of the missing angle, okay? Now think about on B, more so, because it's a shape that we haven't really sort of practiced in our I do and we do, how you can just sort of split it into triangles to give yourself some understanding visually, if that helped you. And again, you've got 90 degrees angles, which is basic to the bottom. I'm sure you'll nail it. Pause the video now and then press play when you're ready for the answers, please. Okay, here they are. So they've been written in. Okay, so you should be able to locate them. And if you've made any corrections, just double check your calculation. Okay, and just go over your success criteria. Try and spend around 2 to 3 minutes doing this, especially if you've got some corrections to make. Keep it nice and neat, as I say always. Okay, so here are C and D for you to try. Take 2 minutes on each again as a timer. And it looks like similar irregular polygons that we had in example 2, but they've been turned upright and slightly tilted. So something to bear in mind, might help. Pause now and press play when you're ready for the answers. And here are your answers for C and D, Team Year 8. Again, you can see them drawn into the image. Make any corrections, keep everything nice and neat. Hopefully green ticked all the way. Press pause to do this, take the time that you need for 2 minutes, and then press play when you're ready for the next 2 questions. Oh, love this. So here are 2 challenging ones in E and F. You've even got some exterior angles on these that might be helping, playing a part. Follow your success criteria that you've been using as always. If you've still not written this down yet, you need to maybe go back and reflect it to support. Everything has been made available for you to answer this question. Okay? Be proactive. If you need to go back and re-jog your memory, that's going to help you learn it and tackle more challenging questions. Pause here. Press play when you're ready for the answers. Voila! Hopefully lots of green ticks. Let's go. Pause as needed. Press play when you've finished marking. Finally, let's correspond to our LO. Have you been finding the missing angle of irregular polygons successfully? And then checking your understanding of a bit of questioning for your self-assessment. 1, what do the interior angles add up to a triangle? Easy start there. We should know that's 180. Number 2, why do we need to subtract 2 from the number of sides for irregular polygons? Well, again, for that simple rule, when we split it, the irregular polygon into the triangles, they all equal 180. And then we just use the number of sides, okay, subtract 2, and that should equal the number of triangles that you have in that irregular polygon, okay? So just go over that just to make sense of it. Make sure you know the number of triangles equal y, we subtract 2 for the number of sides. And number 3, explain when you might have divided by 2 for a regular polygon. Okay, I'll leave that one with you. Remember, there was one example where we did this. Why did we do that? And lesson 2, going on to once you've finished, check your understanding and boost your skills with Hecate Maths, of course. Be thorough with this, do everything properly on Hecate. Okay, year 8, that is a wrap from me for the 8.11 topic. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed your interior and exterior angles. And they will become useful into other topics, so make sure that you are feeling confident with them, going over anything you need, and that's why we do the Hecate to boost these skills as well. Achievement points from teachers when you send work through accordingly. I'll see you all in the next lesson, guys. Take care.